Welcome back everyone, OG Cap here. I hope you enjoyed the initial video about Keanu Reeves in this series. My next video will continue to look at a great actor that has devoted his long career to entertaining us. You will have to decide, is he man, myth, or legend? Chapter 2, Morgan Freeman. Before we get started, I would like you to know how much I appreciate you watching this video. Click on the subscribe button and join me on this journey. Make sure you select the like button too. You'll be notified when the next chapter is out if you hit the bell icon. Morgan has been acting a majority of his life, but I bet you didn't know that he didn't break out on the big screen until he was 50 years old. For guys like me, that's an inspiration. I started on YouTube just 8 months ago, and I am past that age. Hopefully, I can get just a little bit of that kind of success. Okay, I digress. Back to Morgan's story. Since his breakout, he has appeared in over 100 films and received 5 Oscar nominations. Don't worry, we won't go over all the movies. By the way, he did win one for Best Supporting Actor for his performance in Clint Eastwood's $1 Million Baby. His breakout role was in the 1987 crime thriller film Street Smart. Morgan starred with Christopher Reeve and Kathy Baker. He portrayed Leo Fast Black Smalls, a charming but violent pimp who is indicted for second-degree murder. The film was a commercial failure, but it did give Morgan his first Oscar-nominated performance. His next movie was Clean and Sober with Michael Keaton and again Kathy Baker. He plays Craig, a tough but supportive drug rehabilitation counselor. In 1989, Morgan starred with Matthew Broderick, Denzel Washington, and Cary Elwes in the historical war drama Glory. His character was Sergeant Major John Rollins. The film was nominated for 5 Academy Awards and won 3, including Best Supporting Actor for Denzel Washington. Also in 1989, the comedy drama film Driving Miss Daisy was released. Morgan, who reprised his role from the original off-Broadway play, was part of the cast that included Jessica Tandy and Dan Aykroyd. He played Hook Colburn, a black chauffeur to a prejudiced Miss Daisy in 1948. Daisy eventually gains appreciation of Hoke and calls him her best friend. The film was a critical and commercial success. It was nominated for 9 Academy Awards and won 4, including Best Picture and Best Actress for Jessica Tandy. Morgan did receive the nomination for Best Actor, but didn't get the win. 1989 was a busy year for Morgan. He had a 3rd movie released, the biographical drama Lean on Me. The film is based on the real-life story of Joe Louis Clark, an inner-city high school principal in Paterson, New Jersey. Morgan portrays Clark in the movie. The mayor reluctantly hires him as the principal to Eastside High. The school has deteriorated due to drug abuse and crime running rampant. A majority of students cannot pass basic skills testing, and even teachers are not safe from gang violence. Known as Crazy Joe, Clark makes immediate radical changes, including expelling 300 students identified as drug dealers or abusers and troublemakers. Over the course of the movie, he cleans up the school and helps the students reach the 75% pass rate needed on the state basic skills test to keep the school from being controlled by the state. Morgan's next film was released in 1991, the action-adventure film Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Morgan plays Azim, who is paired with Kevin Costner's Robin Hood. The rest of the cast was great, including Christian Slater as Will Scarlet, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio as Marion, Alan Rickman as the Sheriff of Nottingham, and in an uncredited cameo, Sean Connery as King Richard. The film was a box office success, and Morgan was praised for his performance by critics. In this version of the Robin Hood story, Robin has spent years in a prison in Jerusalem, having followed King Richard the Lionheart on the Third Crusade. He manages to escape and saves the life of Azim. Robin returns to England with Azim, who vows to accompany him until his life debt is repaid. Most of you know the story of Robin Hood. This film has a few changes from the story we know. There is no Prince John. Instead, the sheriff plots to steal the throne for himself. Robin and his men save the kingdom, and Azim fulfills his life debt by saving Robin. This film was a change of pace for Morgan. It showed his ability to play different kinds of characters.
I will not allow this wedding to proceed.
My lord.
Unless I am allowed to give the bride away. You look radiant, cousin.
His next film came out in 1992. It was another opportunity for Morgan to show his ability to play characters in different genres. The movie was the Western Unforgiven. The film received widespread critical acclaim and had box office success. Clint Eastwood produced, directed, and starred in this film. It won 4 Oscars, including Best Picture and Best Director for Eastwood. Clint Eastwood was nominated for Best Actor as well. The cast included acting legends Gene Hackman, who got the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, and Richard Harris. Morgan plays Ned Logan, a retired outlaw and friend of Eastwood's Will Money. The story is about Money, an aging outlaw and killer who takes on one more job years after he had turned to farming. He recruits Ned to join him on the job. The job is a $1,000 bounty offered by a prostitute for the cowboys who slashed her face. They track down one of the cowboys, but Ned misses the shot and hits his horse. Will shoots the cowboy. Ned decides to quit and heads back to Kansas. He is later captured and flogged to death. His corpse is displayed in a coffin outside the saloon. Needless to say, Money kills all the remaining cowboys and rides out of town. This was Clint Eastwood's final Western. Morgan's next notable role was in 1994. The Shashank Redemption was a prison drama film based on a Stephen King novella. It received 7 Academy Award nominations. He played contraband smuggler Ellis Red Redding. Tim Robbins co-starred in this film. The film tells the story of banker Andy Dufresne. He is sentenced to life in Shawshank State Penitentiary for the murders of his wife and her lover, despite his claims of innocence. Over the following 2 decades, he befriends Red and becomes instrumental in a money laundering operation led by the prison warden. The film was a box office disappointment during its initial theatrical run. After receiving the Oscar nominations, it was re-released and the box office gross went way up. In 1995, Morgan had 2 films. Outbreak, with an outstanding cast that included Dustin Hoffman, Rene Russo, Cuba Gooding Jr., Patrick Dempsey, Donald Sutherland, and Kevin Spacey, and the crime thriller Seven with Brad Pitt. In this film, he portrayed William Somerset, a disenchanted, near-retirement detective. Pitt plays his newly transferred partner, David Mills. The 2 detectives must stop a serial killer from executing a series of murders based on the 7 deadly sins. This movie is regarded as one of the best thriller, crime, and mystery movies ever made. It remains influential in filmmaking, inspiring many imitators of its aesthetics, style, and premise of detectives investigating serial killers with distinctive methods and motives. The film's twist ending has been named as one of the best in cinematic history. What's in the box? What's in the box? Over the next several years, Morgan had many roles in films, with titles such as Chain Reaction with Keanu Reeves, Steven Spielberg's Amistad, Hard Rain where he reunited with Christian Slater, Under Suspicion with Gene Hackman, and The Sum of All Fears with Ben Affleck. Morgan has portrayed many characters at this point. However, this next movie gave him the ultimate role. In 2003, the fantasy comedy film Bruce Almighty gave him the chance to play God. The film was a box office success. Jim Carrey stars, and Jennifer Aniston co-stars in the movie. Carrey is Bruce Nolan, a down-on-his-luck television reporter who complains to God that he is not doing his job correctly, and is offered the chance to play God himself for 1 week. This is a hilarious movie, as you would expect from Jim Carrey. Morgan's portrayal of God was classic. After a couple more movies, Morgan was able to reconnect with Clint Eastwood. In 2004, the sports drama film $1 Million Baby was released. Eastwood directed, co-produced, scored, and starred in the movie. It received critical acclaim and did well at the box office. It had 7 Academy Award nominations and won 4. These included Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, and Best Supporting Actor, which went to our guy Morgan. Hilary Swank stars as Maggie Fitzgerald, an underdog amateur boxer who is helped by an underappreciated boxing trainer to achieve her dream of becoming a professional. The story follows Maggie's rise in boxing, but the real fight happens when she is injured during a championship bout. She is now fighting for her life. Morgan portrays Eddie Scrap Iron Dupree, Eastwood's gym assistant and former boxer. This movie has been cited as one of the best movies of all time. From there, Morgan had 6 films released in 2005. A voiceover for March of the Penguins, Unleashed with Jet Li, Edison with LL Cool J and Kevin Spacey, War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise, An Unfinished Life with Robert Redford, Jennifer Lopez, and Josh Lucas, and the Christopher Nolan-directed DC movie Batman Begins, the first of the Dark Knight trilogy. The cast for this was incredible. Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne Batman, Michael Caine as Alfred, Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul, Katie Holmes as Rachel Doss, Gary Oldman as Jim Gordon, Cillian Murphy as Dr. Jonathan Crane Scarecrow, Rutger Hauer as William Earl, and our man Morgan as Lucius Fox, a high-ranking Wayne Enterprise employee demoted to working in the company's applied science division. He knows Bruce is Batman and supplies him with much of his gear necessary to carry out his missions. He is eventually promoted to CEO. The film was considered a reboot from the original Batman movies. It tells the origin story of Bruce Wayne from the death of his parents to his journey to become Batman and his fight to stop Ra's al Ghul and the Scarecrow from plunging Gotham City into chaos. It was a darker version of Batman than previous films. It elevated Christian Bale to leading man status. 7 more movies over the next 2 years show Morgan keeps on going. Titles include The Contract with John Cusack, The Chance to Play God Again in Evan Almighty, and The Bucket List with film legend Jack Nicholson, a 2000 buddy comedy drama directed and produced by Rob Reiner. The story is about 2 terminally ill men on their road trip with a wish list of things to do before they kick the bucket. Morgan is blue-collar auto mechanic Carter Chambers. Jack Nicholson is billionaire Edward Cole. They meet while in the hospital and become friends. Carter writes a list of things to do before he kicks the bucket. He learns that he has less than a year to live and discards the list. Edward finds the list the next morning and urges him to do everything on it. He adds his own items and offers to finance all expenses. I really love this movie. It makes you wonder what you would do. Morgan continues to work hard, making another 6 movies over the next 2 years, including The Dark Knight, where he reprises his role as Lucius Fox. In 2010, he slowed down a little, only making 1 film, Red, an action comedy film loosely inspired by the DC Comics limited series of the same name. Bruce Willis stars as Frank Moses, a former CIA Black Ops agent. Morgan is Joe Matheson, Frank's mentor at the CIA. He has terminal cancer and lives in a retirement community in Louisiana. The cast also includes John Malkovich, Helen Mirren, Carl Urban, Mary Louise Parker, Richard Dreyfuss, and Ernest Borgnine. The film follows Frank, who reunites with his old team to capture an assassin who has vowed to kill him. This is definitely an old guy movie, as its cast is comprised of retired agents still able to get the job done. 4 more movies over the next 2 years, highlighted by the 3rd installment of the Dark Knight trilogy, The Dark Knight Rises. In 2013, Morgan is back at it with 4 movies. Olympus Has Fallen with Gerard Butler and Aaron Eckhart, Oblivion with Tom Cruise, Now You See Me with Michael Caine, Jesse Eisenberg, Mark Ruffalo, and Woody Harrelson, and Las Vegas with Michael Douglas, Robert De Niro, and Kevin Kline. Morgan just doesn't know when to stop. He has been in another 27 movies over the last 10 years. These include sequels to previous films, London Has Fallen, Angel Has Fallen, Now You See Me Too. Morgan is now 86 years old and still going strong. It is incredible how he continues to make films. Now, it is time for you to decide. Is Morgan Freeman man, myth, or legend? Post your decision in the comments. Until next time, see you soon. And let's go to the movies.